So I passed up buying the weeding tool set for a while because, in all honesty, I didn't look close enough at it. I thought it was just a tool set and it had most of the same tools that I already had. And then I looked a little bit closer and I realized that there are actually several kinds of weeding tools that may help you with different approaches or maybe even some different substrates. So I bought the weeding tool set and I want to unbox it and do a little bit of a review to see if it's worth your money or not. My name is Kelly and let's get clacking. Okay, so we have our weeding tool set, and then I also have cut a mandala. It's a little bunny because it's almost Easter time. Why not? And we're going to unbox the tool set and we're going to see how the weeding tools work with the mandala. So it has some bigger sections and then some teeny tiny little sections, which is why I specifically wanted to go for a mandala, because mandalas are notoriously tricky to weed. So I figured that would be a good test of the weeding tool set. And adhesive vinyl is sometimes a little trickier to weed than iron-on, which is why I picked adhesive vinyl. And of course we have our little helper cat, who is currently off duty and will be for a while. So let's open it up. So it's got perforated edges. I wonder if they use the perforation blade for this. Okay, so this one has a little lip that we can dig our nails into, which is great. And completely stuff it up because that's what I do. And I grated my finger, so that's a little bit painful, but let's use a different one. Can you tell I'm doing very well so far? I'll say. Bend it a little bit, that seems to work a bit better. That's good enough, let's take them out. So the first one, the one on the right, is the Tweezer Set, and obviously they're stuck in here. So I'm just going to pop them out. Gosh, this is really Kelly proof, isn't it? Oh, it's being clipped in here and it's being clipped in there as well. Bit of a pain, but it's fine. So these are tweezers and they're different to the tweezers that you get in your tool set. So these are the tweezers that you get in your tool set and these are the tweezers that you get in the weeding tool set. As you can see, the tips of themselves are actually different, and also the way that these work. So these are kind of put together. I know there's probably a proper word, I don't know it, but when you press them apart, it then opens up, and when you let it go, it then closes them. But these are normal ones that you have to pull together and then pull out. So that's quite nice. I'm going to put these away because these aren't what we're reviewing. Okay, so we have those ones. The next one is not a normal weeding tip. So this one is very similar to this one, as it has a little lip at the end that you can see there. If I take them up close. Okay, so that's, and it comes with a nice sharp thingy protector, but I don't know about you guys, I take them off and then the next time I use them, they're gone. Might as well not even bother, but it's nice for those that can keep track of their tools. Okay, and this one is our normal weeding tool. So it's nice to have a spare of those because these are really nice. Next, we have this one, which is, oh, the little thingy is slightly angled, but this is straight. So I honestly thought that it would have been okay. Apparently not. It's obviously just bent slightly in the packaging or something like that. And then lastly, we have the straight point tweezers. So it's these ones. I've never really been a big fan of weeding with tweezers. I find it a little bit more challenging than it needs to be. But that's the tool set. And now let's take a look at how these tools perform while weeding. Of course, under the watchful eye of our co-pilot. So we're going to try them in order. So we're first going to try the weeding tongs, let's call them that. I'm going to hold them upside down. Okay, that's pretty cool. So what I did was I dug the one corner in and then gripped it, pulled it up and then gripped it with the other side. Works quite nicely. I think if you had some difficult vinyl, this might work quite well. Might take a while for me to get used to because I'm not used, but it is nice that you don't have to turn it around because obviously it's, if you're holding it like how I'm holding it, you're straight flat on the ground. So it is very useful to then have it weeding in this way. But definitely it needs a different technique. There we go. And it is nice to be able to pick them up. So I think it's definitely something that I would try a little bit more to use, because I think it's, like I said, it's one of those things where you just have to get the technique right. I'm going to take the outside of the vinyl off. So this is what I mean. So what I'm going to do is dig it in with the one side, kind of like what I would with a normal weeding tool. Maybe that might help. And I am using the Cricut permanent vinyl. Okay, no, that's not working so lekker. Okay, that didn't work too badly. Hate it when I do that. Can I help you, sir? Okay, so I don't know whether I'm just using it incorrectly, maybe, but it's not my favorite weeding tool. I find that because there's 2 points, I have to look where I'm placing both of them to make sure that they both aren't on a weeded piece or non-weeded piece, which is what I did there, and then I did the same thing on this side as well. Ended up placing it down somewhere where it shouldn't have. So again, coming back to tweezers not being my favorite kind of tool to weed with, maybe you'll find it different. But with this one, hopefully, because it's got the same style hook, that it will be different. So this would be obviously essentially half of this one, which might work quite nicely because I quite like the angle that I'm weeding at, but just not the fact that I've got to keep track of 2 of them. So let's see. Okay. Whoa. This thing's very sharp. It just went straight through the backing. That's also another thing that I like to do, and it makes it a little bit easier with this tool. Sometimes I like to pick up a few different pieces of vinyl at the same time before I, put it onto my finger, which in all honesty is what I use the most. I don't use one of those weeding rings. You can use them if you find them easier to use. I generally don't, so most of the time I don't use them. I just use my finger like this. But this is actually a very nice weeding tool to use. It does take a little bit of getting used to, as you can see. I mean, I've only done a couple, so it's not like a crazy learning curve, but it is a slightly different way of weeding things, but it's actually very nice. I find it a lot more intuitive. Wow. Okay, I'm a big fan. And obviously this is the same as a lot of dental tools. So people tend to buy a set of dental tools because this is a very similar kind of hook to what you would use in dentistry. Not that I am a dentist, but I've seen the tool sets, and that's obviously why Cricut have done this. They've brought out something that looks very similar to that. Very, very nice. I like this. Goes very quickly, which is nice, but let's leave some weeding for the other tools. Okay, then obviously the normal weeding tool, which is similar to the one that we've just used, but you would kind of go off at a different angle. So instead of coming towards you, you would kind of go sideways. So you would just, and this is the most popular one in terms of the fact that it comes sold separately. You can't buy the other one separately as far as I know, at least not in South Africa. But this one is, like I said, it's the one that requires the least amount of getting used to. And as you can see, it works very similar to the one that we've just used. As you can see, you can also stack quite nicely with this one, and it weeds quite fast. This one is the one that I'm the most used to, so it's probably the one that you would need to take with a pinch of salt because, like I said, I am used to it, so I know exactly how to work this one. The next one is the straight one, and this is one that I actually started out weeding with. Not this one, but this was the tool that I started weeding out with, so it's exactly the same. The Cricut one looks a bit sharper and a bit thinner, so it'll probably be very similar, but I haven't actually used it in a while, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be used to it anymore. Yeah, so with this one, it's a little bit more difficult to control because obviously you've got to change the direction in which the blade goes. So whereas with the other ones, because they're angled, it's a lot more comfortable to kind of choose where the vinyl goes. But with this one, you've got to be more purposeful with it. You've got to move the blade in a certain direction once you've weeded something in order to get it to weed properly. And of course, because it doesn't have a little hook on, it's more likely for things to pick up and fall down like that, because it's not controlling any directionality of anything. So also not my favorite, but we can try with the last little bit of weeding. We're going to try with the straight nose tweezers. So let's see if this is any different to the other ones, because they're obviously different direction. No. I can't wrap my head around tweezers. I think that these would probably work differently with... I don't think that vinyl is probably the correct application for these tweezers. Either that or I'm using them wrong. If I'm using them wrong, please let me know in the comments. I don't know everything and I'm also still learning. So if you know how to use them, please let me know. And while you're there, click subscribe. Click the like button if you're enjoying this video. It helps out the channel immensely. And I want to be able to do this full time, so with your help, we can get there. Okay, that was horrendous. I find like with this, it's the only way is to pierce it on the one side, lift it up and then grab it and pull it out. Which is also nice because then you know you're grabbing it and pulling it out. But you also can't then load up on more than one because you're not... I'm so bad at this. I wonder if you guys can even see this properly. It's hilarious. It's like a train smash waiting to happen. There we go. This is terrible. This must be painful for you guys to watch as well. So, I apologize. Oh no, I can't do that. I've honestly got so many pairs of tweezers and I don't use any of them because I just don't like them. I'm gonna try this one again because I think that this one is probably my favorite. And out of the whole tool set, well, let's talk about the whole tool set once we've done weeding at the end. At least it's my favorite new one. I'm being a little bit overzealous and like digging into the paper, so that's my bad. So all in all, I'm not overly mad about the weeding tool set. To buy the entire tool set just for a tool like this would be quite a waste of money when this one does very much the same kind of job. So you could probably just get this one. But if you like weeding with tweezers, it is nice to be able to have two different ones, because obviously now I've got these two as well as this one. So I've got three different kinds of tweezers that you could use depending on how you prefer weeding. But to buy the entire tool set for these two, like I said, it might be a little bit of a waste of money. Up to you to decide what you think of the weeding and how it went and which ones you're looking for. Thank you very much for sticking around. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. And remember, be kind to someone today. See you soon.